Well, hey everybody, welcome to lesson number 4 in our series of lap steel riffs in the tuning of open G. In today's lesson, we're going to work on a very, very simple technique, but this one was going to include a backward slant. That will be the tricky part for this lesson today. So buckle in. Stay tuned. We are going to be in open G with the bottom string tuned up to G. As I always say, if your lap steel can handle it, crank it up to G. If your lap steel is a little bit weak down in the bridge, maybe put a lighter gauge string on and bring this one up to G. But in any case, this has to be an open G for this lick to actually work the way we want it to. Okay, stay tuned and we'll tear this thing down. Okay, so the first part of this riff today is very, very easy. I'm going to utilize the droning bottom string G technique that I know and love so much. Anyways, I'll play you the first part of the lick, and the lick will have 2 variations, but we're going to cover both variations just in this part of the lesson here. So here's the riff. Okay, so we do that twice, and then the variation is pretty much the same lick, only it's going to be just a bit different, and I'll show you now. Okay, so I just messed that up a little bit just to keep it down home and on the farm. But the difference in the second part of the riff is going to be simply the string combination of this. Okay, so let's take down the first part. We're going to start with our thumb on the open low G string. So it's going to be basically we're going to pluck the low G string and the high G string at the same time. Excuse me. So what we're going to do is we're going to pluck the bottom low string by itself, and then we're going to take the bar at the 3rd fret G string and just gently, you hear how it's minor there? We're just going to bring it up to the 4th fret. Okay, so you should hear that sweetness there. Again, that's using the ear. You can look at the board, but you kind of got to use your ear for it. Okay, so let's do it nice and slow. So we just end it again with our 2nd finger plucking the open G string. And then the thumb back down to the low G. And then we're going to take the bar and go to the 3rd string, 3rd fret. And when we hit that note, get a little vibrato going there, and then we're going to finish the riff off with plucking the open G string again. Sorry. So you see we've got that little note combination there and kind of a 7th. Okay, but it sounds pretty cool. So, then we repeat it again. Okay, so, and then we end it way up at the 5th fret on the 1st string. And don't forget that little vibrato that we like to use. Okay, so I'm going to play it very slowly. Very, very simple. So we do that twice. All right? So that's the first variation. Now I'm going to play the second variation through for you quickly. Sorry. So Sorry, I just got to get my head wrapped around it. Let's try that again. That's the first variation. So kind of the same thing. The only difference that I'm doing now is I'm using a combination of the thumb and the second finger on the third and first strings. So, sort of the same thing. And that's almost getting into the bluegrass world. Okay, so let's just bust it down quickly. The only difference is we're going to start with the low G string, and then we're going to simultaneously use the thumb and the second finger to pluck the third and first string respectively, beginning with the slide only at the third fret on the G string. We want to bring that into a major key. Starts off minor, just a bit off. And we slide it right into the major, okay? Same thing. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part, we'll look at the backward slant, and that might be a little bit tricky, so stay tuned, and we'll tear that one down right away. Okay, now for the second part of the riff today, a little bit trickier. I'll play it for you quickly once. Okay, so that's the actual riff, and the trickiest part, of course, as you probably noticed already, is that little backward slant. For me, the backward slant is the most difficult one. I'm easy with the forward one, but the ergonomics make it difficult for me. It may be for you as well, but we'll keep this one super simple. So let's tear it down. We're going to pluck our... if you remember in the last 3 lessons, we were using a 3-string combination. So we're going to start with that combination. The bar is going to slide from the 4th fret up to the 5th fret, but we're only going to utilize the D string with our thumb, the G string with our first finger, and the B string with our second finger. So 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. And that's that natural combination in G that we know and love. So, okay, and then we do the, we'll pluck at the 5th fret. Once we reach pitch, we will pluck the 4th string, and then follow that with the 2nd string. Okay, so we're not using the index finger at all. Here, we're just gonna, and then we'll do that classic drunken lap steel player in the back of the bar with the band kind of lick. I love that lick. Okay. So we're just gonna, we don't have to pluck anything other than the initial strings. Slide down to the 4th, down to the 3rd. A little bit of vibrato. Okay, and then we go from here is where it gets tricky. We got to take the bar, and we have to go all the way down so that the bar essentially, when it's slanted forward like this, and you can see this in the camera, I believe, the bar's got to get to the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then the top part of the bar has to get to the 2nd string 1st fret. It's tricky. It's one of those ones, it may take a little bit to get it because of the whole pitch thing, and especially for me because of the ergonomics of it, but it should sound like this. Okay, so you can hear it's a bit pitchy, and I'm doing this intentionally so you can see how the different, if you're just off a little bit, right, it's a tricky one. Okay, now when you finish it there, we pluck it again, so it's going to be, and then we do that thing again where we pluck the fourth string and the second string. The fourth string will come first with a thumb. Okay? And we pluck the second, and then we slide it all the way back up. So then it becomes a forward slant back into normal position again. Okay? Sorry. And then we just finish it again. And that ends the lick right there. So the trickiest part, once again, is going from here down to there. Okay? So it's going to take some time to get that, or maybe it won't for you. Maybe you'll be a prodigy, and then you can show me how to do this, because it's still pretty tricky for me. It's easier when I'm in a band, when I'm in the flow of it, but to do it this way and catch the pitch perfectly on our own each time, it gets kind of close. Okay, so let's run the whole riff before we get to the jam track. Okay, that's essentially the lick. I'm going to set up the jam track. You can see how we played this through, but those are the two important parts. So stay tuned. We'll get straight to the jam track here now. All right, well, as you can see, the lick's a little bit difficult, at least that backward slant. It's always been difficult for me. But practice it, and I'll keep practice it, and together we'll make this thing good. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson today. And as always, if you are enjoying these and learning a little bit and you feel like, hey, maybe I want to help that guy out, you can support me at patreon.com/Dan Walsh. In the meantime, stay tuned, stay slidey, and we'll see you guys real soon.